Good afternoon and happy Thanksgiving, everyone. My name is Nayaswami Padma, and I'm here today to bring you an excerpt, a little taste of Yogananda's original teachings for the noontime broadcast. And today I'm reading from Swami Kriyananda's autobiography, The New Path. And on this Thanksgiving Day, I'm going to tell you a story. We're in a section now where Dr. Lewis, Yogananda's first disciple in America, is sharing some stories with the monks, and Swami Kriyananda recorded this. So this is in Dr. Lewis's voice. So I guess he saw here, meaning at nighttime, very late at night, they had Dr. Lewis and Yogananda, Dr. Lewis and his wife and Yogananda had adjoining rooms in the hotel in San Francisco. So I guess he saw here an opportunity for us to spend a few hours sharing spiritual friendship and inspiration with him. We don't get many chances for that anymore now that the work has become worldwide. The problem was Mrs. Lewis and I were both tired. She especially. We'd been traveling all day. "We're going to sleep," she announced in a tone of finality. That, as far as she was concerned, was that. But Master had other ideas. Mrs. Lewis and I went to bed. The Master, with apparent submissiveness, lay down on his bed. I was just getting relaxed, and Mrs. Lewis was beginning to drift peacefully off to sleep, when suddenly the Master, as though with infinite relevance, said, "Sub gum." Nothing more. Sub gum was the name of one of those Chinese dishes we'd eaten earlier that day. I smiled to myself, but Mrs. Lewis muttered grimly, "He's not going to make me get up." A few minutes passed. We were just drifting off again, suddenly in marveling tones. "Sub gum duff." Master pronounced the word carefully, like a child playing with unaccustomed sounds. Desperately, Mrs. Lewis whispered, "We are sleeping." She turned for help to the wall. I love that sentence. More minutes passed. Then, very slowly, "Super sub gum duff." The words this time were spoken earnestly, like a child in the process of making some important discovery. By this time I was chuckling to myself. But though sleep was beginning to seem to both of us rather an impossible dream, Mrs. Lewis was still hanging on fervently to her resolution. More minutes passed, and then the great discovery. "Super submarine sub-gum duff." Further resistance was impossible. Howling with merriment, we rose from the bed. For the remainder of the night, sleep was forgotten. We talked and laughed with the Master. Gradually, the conversation shifted to serious matters. We ended up speaking only of God, then meditating. With his blessings, we felt no further need for sleep that night. Such a sweet and important story for all of us. On Tuesday, I talked about the fact that meditation rests us at the center of our soul in such a way that we require less sleep. Well, in this case, being with a great master, a fully liberated soul, an incarnation of the divine, in this way, being present with someone like that, being near someone like that. Now, I'm going to qualify that because God is spirit, not form, not the body. And so even though Yogananda is no longer in his body or in a body, nevertheless, we can attune to his spirit. And so Dr. Lewis and Mrs. Lewis were so close with him. They were simply enjoying one another's company, talking late into the night, then the talk turning to the talk of God, and then deep meditation. And so even though they were up all night, they weren't tired. They were attuning themselves, being influenced by that supercharged battery of a enlightened soul that they were sitting next to. You know, you can sit next to a battery and not draw upon it. And so it takes our effort to open ourselves to that divine generator. And in this case, it was Yogananda. And they did so. And in doing so, they easily stayed up all night and felt refreshed. I could go on much longer on this subject, but I'll leave it at that for the noontime inspiration. That divine battery, that generator of divinity, is with us in spirit all the time, and all we need to do is draw upon it. To those who receive, to them gave he the power to become the sons of God. That is the spiritual principle involved, drawing on that divine battery and therefore charging ourselves up, not just for the moment, but for eternity. Because Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that no spiritual effort is ever lost. Joy to you, and we'll see you again next week. Many blessings. Bye-bye now.